Hello again. Welcome to another week and welcome to our presentation on Sea Corps, which is what Mitch Carl presented us on when we went to visit at the zoo. So they are saving and restoring ecosystems, and you're going to hear me say that throughout my presentation because that is their main goal and their main focus. So let's go ahead and begin. Okay, so global coral restoration, implementing restoration, engineering restoration, and coral resilience research. Those are the four main aspects that Sea Corps aims to do to change the world. And I do mean that literally, because without our coral, our seas are going to be very lacking in an ecosystem to support fishes and other animals. All right, so on this page, it talks a little bit about what they do. And you can see that Sea Corps International is the leading organization for conservation organization for the restoration and protection of coral reefs. And I talked about how they're doing research, they're doing active coral restoration, they're educating, and they're doing outreach. So they're teaching us how to be better citizens of the world by interacting healthier with our coral. Next page. Okay, so their work. Now Mitch talked a little bit about this, and I was able to find on their website just a little bit more detail. They are currently developing coral settlement substrates, so they're developing ways to really anchor coral, because it turns out that after the gametes come together, like I talked about in last week in that presentation, that they often don't have a place to go. They don't have anywhere to anchor to. So Sea Corps is creating substrates that are the best and the most innovative for securing that coral so it's got a place to live. Because all animals on Earth need 5 things in order to survive. They need air, they need water, they need shelter, they need habitat, and they need space to live. Without those 5 things, they cannot survive. They are also creating ocean-based coral breeding pools. Now these pools look a lot like kiddie pools that you may see around town. These kiddie pools are unique though in the fact that they are taking bits of coral, like what Mitch Carl took off a piece that day that we were there touring, and then they are letting them spawn in that pool, which is just a captivated area, so that when the gametes go swimming, they can find each other easier. Then they are inventing coral germ cell collecting devices. That's a fancy term to say that they developed a net that works better than any other net on the market. They are also using a novel approach, a seeding concept. So like I said, they're using those pools, and after the gametes have come together and formed eggs, and the eggs have been fertilized, and then they start spawning, then they are able to take those and put those on the substrates. I know, this seems simple, but this has never been done before like this, especially on the scale that they are working on. Okay, so their goals, long term, they are going to continue building partnerships locally and internationally so that they can work on global restoration. I'm sorry. Near term, which is their term that they're using for in the near future. They want to extend the Pacific region efforts. They're really trying to focus in on there. And it's interesting that they've chosen there, but they think that there is the most to lose in that area. And not the easiest to save, but the most important to save. They're working with local partnerships like Fundinaco in the Dominican Republic. And that was actually one of the local organizations that we were supposed to work with. So we would be working in essence with Sea Corps, which is interesting to think about because they're working with those local partnerships. Because they found that locals know the environment that they're working in and they know where they live at. So why not get those people involved if they're interested in helping? They're also increasing the efficiency of microfragmentation. They're providing engineering solutions to others. So when they learn something new, instead of trying to get rich and trying to market what they're learning, they share it. They just want coral to survive. So when they decide and when they figure out something that works, they communicate it to others, such as the Henry Dorley Zoo, so that we can work in partnership with Seacor to really promote the well-being of those coral. Okay. So current research is working on elkhorn coral, which is, this is a very good picture of elkhorn coral in the wild. It's a beautiful red color, and it gets the name because it looks like elk horns. I know, scientists, they're not very creative, but it is neat that they're able to work with this specific coral and that they found that this one is easy to work with and yet is drastically decreasing in their amount in the wild. So their question that they're putting out right now is, are younger parents better at propagating than older parents? And the answer they have found is no. Turns out that when they were doing their research, that younger parents had a tendency to pass on negative aspects in their genes to their children, whereas older parents passed on the best parts of their genes. They don't know why, but that is the facts. So Seacor's approach, this graphic was taken right from Seacor's website, which is a fantastic resource, and I encourage you all to look out at that. So they're doing restoration of coral reefs around the globe on a meaningful scale. So they're not just doing here and there, they're doing so many hundreds of projects all at once, and they have scientists around the world that are really trying to work together. So they're creating this network that's really fusing, and that's why it's so exciting, this project and this organization. So this is a really cool graphic. Take your time and look at it, but I'm not going to talk much about it right now. But it talks about those pools and the anchors that I was talking about too. So make a difference and help save coral reefs. What can you do? Of course, we know our 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Yes, I'm serious. Even here in the Midwest, you can reduce, you can reuse, and you can recycle. And we know now that you can use coral safe sunscreen, that you can use a reusable straw, reusable silverware. If you have the opportunity, bring your own silverware, wash it later. Simple things that you can do right here in the Midwest to make a difference. And then when you go to the oceans, be responsible. Pack in, whatever you pack in, pack out. You know, these are all steps that we know. We just need to use more common sense. So definitely some things that we can do. Seacor International, giving coral reefs a future. And that is my presentation for the day. Thank you all so much.